I've devoted my life to trying to do the right thing. And the way I've looked at this is I have an opportunity to be alive for a reason. Probably 8, 9 years ago, I started really stepping up and talking about social issues. If you have influence, if you have money, if you have power, your job is to protect those weaker than you or that need help. And somehow we've lost that.
And I love the direction that you're moving in, both as a scientist, a doctor, as well as from a corporate point of view. Can you talk a little bit about what inspired you to pursue the social responsibility of the company and how that came about for you?
So I, in my career, I worked for the government. I've worked for a lot of the top pharmaceutical and biotech companies. I moved up in those companies, and then I opened my own companies in healthcare, looking at quality and cost of care throughout the United States and putting in to practice diagnostics and analytics and genetic testing. And that was a huge thing for me. And I would say I failed at that in many ways because I put so much of my own personal money into something that the world wasn't really ready for, because at that moment the world was ready. We're built on a system of economy. Our economy depends on spending a lot of money on healthcare, right? So that it was a hard time for me, but I never gave up. So from my perspective, since I had cancer, since I had Lyme disease, since I had a child that had cancer, I've devoted my life to trying to do the right thing. And the way I've looked at this is I have an opportunity to be alive for a reason. It was a blessing, even though I didn't feel like it was a blessing when I was, 25 and 26 and sick. And it doesn't feel like a blessing every time something else happens. But in my mind, it was, because it gave me the humility to I had the strength. I kind of have a warrior strength of fighting anything. I think, like, if someone came in this room and there were 100 people here, I'd probably be the one to step forward and say, "I've got this. Let me be the person that protects everyone." So I kind of was born that way. That's just how I've always been. But I think the humility of being sick and my children going through things with them caused me to be this person that knew that I could stand up and be a good example as a human being. And I always say this, we've just got to be better humans, right? And I think God, honestly, I think He humbled me for a reason. And so I take that with me. I believe in educating people and being honest. I try to do it strategically. I do understand the environment we're living in. But my goal is to make every person have the longest, best life possible. And that means mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. And as a scientist, I feel like it's on my shoulders and my responsibility to tell the truth and to do it in a positive way instead of being a whistleblower or blowing things up. I want to offer these things that can help people, and that's a lot of pressure for me because it means that I'm accountable daily to try to do the right thing and to say the right thing and to not mislead in any way. And socially, I've taken that on. So most people don't know this about me, but I was on social media before only because of my children, to watch them, to make sure that they weren't doing anything wrong. And then about probably 8, 9 years ago, I started really stepping up and talking about social issues, working on even female empowerment. And I always say this, I have 3 sons and a daughter. I'm not against men. I love men. I love women too. I just always try to talk about how we can empower, because I do have this belief that when you have gifts, if you have influence, if you have money, if you have power, your job is to protect those weaker than you or that need help. And somehow we've lost that in our I guess our move for success, right? We think we forget about that. But for me, that's my motive to make social change is to it's my responsibility to be a good human. I'm going to die someday and I'm going to have to answer for everything I've done on this earth. So I have to try every day to be better. I fail every single day, but I try my best. And I feel like the coffee was something that was for a social change that I think we need to be aware of without scaring everyone. You don't want everyone thinking, well, every bit of coffee, they drink isn't good. I love Starbucks. Like my kids tease me all the time. They're like, "Mom, you love Starbucks." I love Rom Roast better, but when I'm traveling, Rom Roast isn't everywhere, and I still love Starbucks. And so I don't live a perfect life, and what I mean by that is I don't constantly put everything perfect in my body, but I try to, and I think every human being should try. And so that has led me to move to run companies. I have 22 companies actually under DRC Ventures, and a lot of people don't know that. So there's 22 companies that I'm actually in charge of right now, trying to make some good social changes in the world.
I think your message is optimistic and inspiring. I think how you're sharing it's amazing. Dr. Christina Rahm, Rahm Roast Coffee. If we want to learn more about the coffee, if we want to follow you, if we want to buy your coffee, where are the best ways to be looking for you? Social media, websites, where should we be looking?
So drchristinarahm.com is my website, and then I'm on social media, Instagram, LinkedIn under Dr. Christina Rahm. But the Root Brands sells Rahm Roast, and then there's a Rahm Roast website, and I think it's rahmroast.com. The rootbrands.com is the other one, but the Root Brands is an affiliate model, and so basically that company gives away 50% of everything that they sell. And we also donate, just so everyone knows, we donate from every bag of coffee to philanthropy as well. But there is a new site where I know they're doing a standalone. You can buy Rom Roast on its own without doing anything else, and even at wholesale. So if people are interested in putting it into stores, they could contact me, or they could contact under rahmroast.com, and we would be able to facilitate that as well. So there's a huge discount when people do buy at wholesale. And we did that because of grocery stores and restaurants and things like that.
Amazing. Well, thank you. I think everyone who's listening and watching, we love coffee to begin with. And so finding out healthier ways to do it is really inspiring, and your message is inspiring.